Welcome back. It is the Sports Hour here on Flow FM, and it's time to bring in our World Game expert, Johnny Moore, beaming in from London. Johnny, good morning to you on this fine Tuesday. How are you?
Yeah, going well, thanks, Ellis. The sun is rising up very nicely here in the UK, and looks like it's going to be a nice day here. But happy to be talking everything football once again, and to all those listeners out there, welcome.
Absolutely. Well, there's plenty to talk about. We're talking international football. It is the international break in the World Game calendar right now. So let's start at home, Johnny, or what was your former home for a good number of years. Australia getting a very comfortable win over Ecuador. Graham Arnold having the luxury of being able to experiment with his side a little bit in the team's welcome home game from that very exciting World Cup display in Qatar. So what did you make of it? 3-1 win to Australia on the night.
Yeah, look, Arnold and the Socceroos doing obviously a great job on that back end of the World Cup. Like I said, they probably definitely caused a few surprises in that tournament, and they can hold themselves up high. But obviously, it's back to sort of the nitty-gritty sort of in terms of building up their preparation for the next sort of qualifications and things like that. So look, it was a really good hit out. I think those kind of friendly matches are always a case of, do you experiment with more youth? Do you obviously try and nullify your best 11 and stuff like that? But I think it's got a real good mixture of blend, bringing in some young players, and I think the younger sort of they're maturing quite quickly and getting obviously caps under their belt. So look, it was a good performance, a good victory, and they'll take plenty of positives going into the next time that they come out.
Well, the two teams meet again tonight at Wembley Stadium in Melbourne. This will be a 7:30 kickoff Eastern Standard Time. Do you see Australia being able to back up their win on Friday night in Melbourne, Johnny?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why. They've obviously got the confidence, like I said, from the first fixture. And look, I'm sure there'll be a few more rotations, which gives the opportunity for some of the other players that probably haven't had as much game time. And it's just try to obviously gel. Obviously in trainings, you sort of go through all those routines and trying to build that link-up play and the understanding that when you change, say, a centre-back here or a strike partnership or things like that, it doesn't just click straight away on the field. But look, I'm sure there'll be a few players that will get in some experience in that Socceroos side. But yeah, I expect them to get another good performance in and probably another good result. So all things looking positive and confident at the moment for the Socceroos.
As they are for your home nation, England, two very good results. So let's switch over to the Euro qualification round of matches and what are some far more significant football events going on in the world, Johnny. So England really, well, they've gone into this with an absolute bang, beating Italy first up 2-1. That was the harder game. And away from home, Johnny, a pretty impressive result, you'd have to say.
Yeah, most definitely. I think England were in control the majority of that game. They actually could have probably killed the game and probably gone a 3-0 scoreline, whereas they say the 2-0 scoreline in football is obviously a bit of a sort of headache in terms of you think you're in a comfortable position. All it takes is the opposition to get one, and you sometimes you crumble under pressure. But England didn't do that. They looked really confident on the ball. I think the only, like I said, blemish wasn't the clean sheet and Luke Shaw being shown his marching orders. But I was really impressed. Obviously, Kane breaking the England goal scoring records. Phenomenal achievement, and some of the actual players in that team are really starting to click. It's just hopefully they can put those sort of European qualifications matches into like the bigger tournaments and hopefully win one of those tournaments in the future, because they've got the players and the squad, and I think the manager is doing a good job there. He's obviously stayed on board, and hopefully he can bring success to the team in the future.
I was going to say, you'd love to have had this result back in July of 2021, getting the yips in that penalty shootout, Johnny, but then you can go away to Italy and beat them comfortably.
Yeah, I know that would have been the fairy tale, sort of bringing that trophy back, but yeah, obviously wasn't to be. The Italians got the better of the hand and took their composure in that penalty shootout at England. Like I said, since then, I think Kane probably scored all his penalties, and you just think under the pressure of certain spot kicks, when he had that one against France, and obviously going back to the Italian game, obviously some players under pressure in that penalty shootout. It's those circumstances that you can't prepare for. But take nothing away from England at the moment. A great victory and a great performance away from home. 3 points on the board, and then they backed it up with the victory against Ukraine. So they're looking looking very good, and I'm sure all the England fans that I come across in the streets and occasionally if I pop into the pub, they're obviously singing and no harm in that at the moment.
Well, speaking of sides that are very much in form, France, the World Cup finalists, really smashing Netherlands 4-0. No one would have seen a result this heavy having been achieved by the French, Johnny, because the Netherlands, at least at the World Cup in Qatar, looked like they really were refreshed and playing some really good stuff. So they've taken a real hiding here, Johnny. How did you see this game?
Yeah, look, both teams have obviously got quality in there. But yeah, look, I say a surprising result. It's probably just the context of the game. It was, like I said, more one-sided than I would have thought. And look, both sides have got some really skillful players amongst their ranks. And sometimes it can be, like I said, a thrilling game, whether it's a 0-0 or 3-0. And sometimes it can be a one side of the fair, which is more the case in this one. So, yeah, for me, it's a case of going, one team has probably get the momentum and lots of positives and stuff, and the other team has got to sort of go back to the tactics board and really sort of think what areas they missed the sort of battles or the key sort of one-on-ones, I say, that sort of open up the game to then sort of come freely through the midfield and the attacking ranks. But yeah, lots of things from both sides, from the positives and negatives to take out from that one. But yeah, looking forward to sort of the next fixtures in those sort of groups as well.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo looks like one man that's been reborn in recent times, certainly playing really well in Saudi Arabia. But as far as his international football goes, he's really thriving right now. And Portugal getting a 6-0 win over Luxembourg. Obviously, not much of an intimidating opponent, Johnny, but to put 6 away from home as well in games that matter, it's pretty impressive by the Portuguese.
Yeah, most definitely. As you mentioned, Ronaldo firing on all cylinders, a brace in that game, and look, his international career doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. I think he probably wants to break all records, and he's obviously still doing that for Portugal and the form he's in. You could see him playing for another couple of years yet. Obviously, the players around him as well, that's a credit to them, not just a one-man show with the likes of Bruno Fernandes on the ball. He's a great player, a great master of sort of picking the eye of the needle and setting up assists. And you've got Felix, who seems to be settling in okay at Chelsea, and his international form is picking up a little bit there. And you've got probably the likes at the back of Ruben Diaz, who's a really solid defender, and he's obviously playing well at Man City at the moment. So they've got, in terms of across their whole sort of team, they've got abundance of players that sort of come in, and even probably the likes of Bernardo Silva, who I rate very highly. He doesn't start all the time for his club, but yeah, international, he's a real sort of menace and a really clever, intelligent player. So Portugal, a really positive performance, and obviously hit for 6 Luxembourg, and they've picked up 2 wins in their opening 2 fixtures of this qualifying Portugal. So they're going to be a hard one to beat.
Well, Kazakhstan, with all due respect to them, Johnny, a true football minnow. It almost feels like, as a country, they're sort of most famous for a Sacha Baron Cohen parody movie. But a huge win over Denmark for Kazakhstan. No one would have predicted this result at all. And we saw an absolute cracking goal scored in this game too. So Denmark, off the back of a really disappointing World Cup, continue to let down their fans, Johnny.
Yeah, most definitely. This is the surprising result out of all the fixtures come the European qualifiers so far this weekend and this week ahead. Look, especially Denmark, they were in the sort of lead, and like I mentioned before, a 2-0 lead. You sort of think it's a comfortable lead, but like I said, all it takes is for one goal and the opponents get a lift, and it was definitely the case in this game. Kazakhstan, credit to them. They dug deep, got a goal, and then from there they sort of went on and really produced the result of the fixtures. And look, really good performance. And like you said, a cracker of a goal in that one. So yeah, they're going to be a bit of a dark horse. I can't imagine, like I said, they're getting too many more points. But like I said, some sort of teams will take their foot off the gas, and that's the dangerous thing in football. You think the game's won, and it's never won until that final whistle. So for all those players out there, make sure you keep going all the way right until the the ends and never give up. And that's the sort of attitude of the Kazakhstan players and the coach. So credit to them.
Once again, 10 host cities to host the Euros in 2024. I'm not sure I like this format, Johnny. I prefer just one or two nations combining to host the games. 2024, are you going to get out and watch some games?
I'd like to. I think that's definitely on the radar. Whether or not it materialises, there's a lot of things my end. But look, I'd love to get back out there. But obviously, to get to a major tournament, that's one thing on my bucket list that hasn't eventuated just yet. I think now, if I'm not sure if I can finally say it that I've hung up my boots. I'm not playing football at the moment. But look, hopefully. I can continue to find a team just to lace up the boots one more time. But when you've got games going thick and fast and tournaments around you, sometimes it's what you sort of give up and have a little bit of time away. But look, for me, that's something for the future. To be lovely to go and be part of an actual major tournament, to go and watch and whether it's seeing your teams you support or whether or not it's just being a neutral fan. I think the whole atmosphere of those things is something that can be never sort of really appreciate it until you actually witness it yourself.
Johnny Moore, our world game expert, coming into us from London. Really, really excellent analysis today, Johnny, and enjoy all the feast of games still to come in the international break before we get straight into the thick of it again in the domestic leagues of Europe. We'll speak to you again next week, Johnny. Take it easy.
Thanks again, Ellis, and to all those listeners. Hope you enjoyed that segment of the show and look forward to the week ahead and getting back to the Premier League action come next